Namaskar everyone. Thank you. Namaskar everyone.
Namaskar.
Namaskar.
Thank you Vilas Dada for inviting me for making this presentation on Ahar Shuddhi, on diet purification. I'm going to share my experience with you in the next few minutes, after which we will take questions.
Okay.
So I'm going to start sharing my screen now, and you should see on this screen transformation through diet purification. Is everybody able to see this screen? I hope everybody is able to see the screen. And now everybody can mute themselves. Rather than me controlling everybody, we are all adults. So we can all mute ourselves when we are listening. And then when time comes for us to have a discussion or when you want to ask a question, then you can unmute yourself and then we will have the questions. So here is the disclaimer. Before I start speaking, I always want to say to everybody that the information I present is not intended for the purpose of providing medical advice. All information, content and material I present is for information and not intended to serve as a substitute for consultation, diagnosis or a medical treatment of a qualified physician or healthcare provider. I am only sharing my experience. Okay? I don't assume any liabilities and I do not expect all of you to take this advice blindly. Okay, I have done a lot of experiments on diet myself. This is all first-hand experience. So I'm not telling you what I've read in the book. I'm telling you only what I've experienced and some of my understanding based on my background in process engineering, chemical engineering, environmental engineering, ecosystems. That's what I will do. All right. So this is what I would like to present. Fundamental principles. Then I will talk about natural food. We will talk about the health benefits of being on a natural food diet, then some practical advantages, then don'ts and do's. And I'll show you some photographs, just one photograph, before and after the change that happened in my body. And I'll also show you some photographs of what the transformation was like through flexibility, strength, and balance. And then some concluding remarks. Hopefully this will take no more than 20-25 minutes, so I won't bore you to death, but there will be hopefully a lot of discussion after that. So what are the fundamental principles? Fundamental principles in nature, this is just the way it is. I have not made these rules. Okay, this is what we observe. All organisms are naturally programmed for health, which is essential for survival and propagation of that organism. That's how nature works. And then every organism looks for food appropriate for its survival and propagation. That is also a natural law. In Vedanta, we hear about ahara, nidra, bhaya, maithunam cha. These are the four fundamental pravrutti that we all have, which we seek, isn't it? Organisms have the natural intelligence to accept and assimilate necessary or beneficial material. So out of whatever we eat, whatever we consume, our body has the natural intelligence to accept and assimilate what the body requires, and rest of it, it will reject. It will reject or excrete unnecessary or harmful material. So this is what nature has designed this body for. All right. Now, what we also observe that no organism except man processes its food. So whatever food is available in nature for that organism will simply consume it as it is without processing it. Then no organism except man will eat more than necessary. Have you ever seen your pet dog or pet cat eat more than necessary? In the jungle, of course, no animal will eat more than necessary. And no organism except man collects more things than necessary. Whatever their need is, they will collect. But we keep collecting so many things. So this is something we need to observe, and we need to figure out whether we are living like proper animals or whether we are living even worse than that. And no organism except man will harm any other organism unless it happens to be the food. Otherwise, what we do, we go for shikar, unnecessarily killing animals. There is no reason, isn't it? No other animal does that. So if the tiger is full after it has killed and eaten a deer, the next deer can be grazing in front of it. but the tiger will not bother. In Marathi they say त्याच्या चेहऱ्यावरची माशी पण नाही हलत. All right, so what does natural food mean? All right, this natural food is basically food produced by nature through the process of photosynthesis. So 4 things will fall under this category. So fruits, and then nuts and seeds, vegetables, and sprouted grains and lentils. These things we can eat without cooking. Okay. Natural food also means rice and wheat and all that, but you cannot really eat that unless you cook it first, unless you process it by the process of fire or agni first. All right. Then natural food contains enzymes useful for digestion. So the food we eat, if it is alive, then each living cell, each biological cell has the enzymes necessary to auto-digest itself. So when we eat a fruit, for example, or when we eat, in this picture, you can see some carrots and you can see some cucumbers. These things, when you eat, the live biological cell within this material is capable of self-digesting or auto-digesting itself. So we don't have to synthesize our own enzymes to try to digest this food. This food can be digested easily by us. Okay? So therefore, it is very energy efficient. We don't have to put any additional energy into the process of feeding ourselves. It's very energy efficient. So from process engineering point of view, I'm a process engineer to start with. So from that point of view, it is very efficient. In fact, nature expects us to be efficient. Nature is inherently efficient. It is naturally efficient. Okay? So if we live inefficiently, then nature doesn't think of us very kindly. And nature will try to teach us some lessons. All right. Once we start eating food in its natural form, we realize that it is juicy, tasty, and it is full of life energy. What are the health benefits? These are all experienced firsthand. Okay. Disease reversal. I used to have all kinds of allergies. They simply disappeared. Normalization of body weight and BMI. I'm going to show you a picture that will be very clear. Normalization of blood sugar. I know people personally whose diabetes of several years has been cured by natural diet without having to eat any medicine. All right. Blood cholesterol will become normal, blood pressure will become normal, heart rate will become normal. Sickness is very rare. After I switched on to a natural diet, I've had a couple of bouts of cold. So before switching to the natural diet, I used to get a cold and I would get sick for almost a week. So they say in America, they say if you take some medicine for the cold, it will go away in 7 days. And if you don't take any medicine, then it will go away in a week. That is what they say, right? Heart rate becomes normal, sickness is rare, recovery is very quick. So in my case, I used to get sick and suffer for 7 days, but now after switching to a natural diet, I've had a couple of bouts of cold, but they got cured within a couple of days at the most, sometimes just in a few hours. I would feel like I'm getting a cold, and then after that, it will automatically go away in the next few hours, not even 24 hours. So all of these things happen, and then there is improved immunity. Improved immunity means you don't get sick in the first place. That's what happens. See, some other health benefits. What happens is, you see, in our gut, there is a huge amount of microbes, huge number of microbes. The estimate is our body is anywhere between 10 and 40 trillion cells, whereas the microbial cells in our body is anywhere between 10 and 100 trillion cells. Means what? See, we live in a democracy, right? So if you consider one cell, one vote, and you have an election within our body of all the cells, we will be a minority government. So minority government, what is the characteristic? It can fall anytime. That's how it falls all the time. So we get healthy gut microbiome. Because we get healthy gut microbiome, the inflammation in our gut is reduced. And any modern doctor will tell you that modern lifestyle diseases are caused by inflammation. So if the inflammation goes away, all the diseases disappear from the body. The mucus level is greatly reduced. For people who are doing yogasana, pranayam and all that, if you are doing pranayam, then if there is no mucus in your sinuses, then the pranayam happens really well. I used to have choked sinuses perpetually all the time. I suffered by that for 30-35 years. That 30-35 years worth of suffering disappeared in about 2 months, okay, without any medicine. Reduced allergies, I told you, allergies are reduced. Then improved body flexibility. My body is more flexible now than when I was a teenager, when I learned Yogasan from Yoga Abhyasi Mandal in Ramnagar, in Nagpur. I'll show you some photographs, so don't take my word for it. A picture will be worth 1,000 words. Improved oral hygiene. When you eat like this, you don't have to brush your teeth in the morning because your mouth does not feel dirty at all. It is clean. There is no layer on your teeth or on your tongue. Of course, I'll brush my teeth in any case. You know, we are used to brushing our teeth since we were born, so we brush. Okay. Then we get clear and glowing skin. I used to have marks because of injuries and some eczema and so on and so forth. All of that became completely clear. The skin is very glowing. This is especially good for ladies because then they don't have to spend a lot of time doing makeup. All right. And then reduced body odor. So people, when they come to us, they don't run away from us because of the body odor. You don't have to use deodorants, antiperspirants, things like that. Perspiration doesn't have any bad odor. You will be surprised. This is something most people won't talk about in public, but even the urine and the feces will not have an offensive odor. That is the experience. You feel really good. You know, you understand the meaning of what Patanjali Muni says, Shaucha. Now, here are some practical advantages. Your food requirement is lower because your absorption of nutrients becomes more efficient. You see, in the book, you will read that everybody has to eat enough food, which will have 2,000 calories every day and so on and so forth. That's, I mean, people who are selling food, who are in the business of selling food will tell you that. That is not the requirement. Our requirement is governed by our age, our health status, our activity level, and our efficiency of absorbing the nutrients. See, there are Jain people here. I'm thinking Sandeep is probably, or is familiar with Jain religion anyway. In Jain, there are so many munis who eat only once a day. And how do they eat? They make an anjuli, onzal, Marathi mein, you know, on these two palms, whatever they can get from some gruhastha, from some householder, they will take this and they will eat it. And they will eat this only once a day. They will not eat thereafter for the next 23 hours or 24 hours, whenever they get their next meal. All right. And they can survive. How can they survive? They don't even wear any clothes. So they are not affected by heat or cold. How can somebody live like that? It is possible to live like that. That is why people live like that. Okay? So lower food requirements means lower waste generation. So if you put less material in, less material will go out. If you put more material in, then more material will go out, isn't it? Your sleep quota is reduced. Means what? Your productivity is higher. So if you're sleeping 8 hours a day earlier, now you sleep only 5 or 6 hours a day. That's a 25-30% reduction in your sleep, which means that much time is available for doing whatever you like, you know, including this contemplation. We are doing this, isn't it? I travel internationally quite a lot. There is no jet lag. Your body is always in sync with the time of the day wherever you land. Then cooking and cleaning is much quicker. See, in my case, cooking time is 0. Maybe cutting some vegetables or whatever. I usually sit down with all of my fruits and vegetables in front of me on the dining table with a small knife. I cut it right there and I eat. Okay. Cleaning is not required. You know, if you don't cook, you don't have to do the dishes. This is great, isn't it? Especially right now in the lockdown, Bai is not coming. So who is going to do the dishes? If the husband is doing the dishes, then, you know, I'm sure now he understands what the Bai goes through all her life, right? Reduced cooking fuel need. So when you don't cook, you don't have to use any fuel. Okay? And then cooking skills are not necessary. All right. Then one thing I have not written here is I'm not afraid to go to anybody's house because they are not worried about what to feed this guy. They don't have to cook anything for me. Great. And I'm not afraid of your cooking because you can cook whatever you want. I'm not going to eat, isn't it? So these are the practical advantages. Social benefits. All right. So then after hearing this whole story, I'm going to caution you. In any practice, you should know what not to do first. Okay, when you are trying to drive the car, you should know where the brake is first. Only then you can go fast. Otherwise, you cannot go fast. So therefore, don'ts are listed first. So don't do what? Don't do what? Don't make sudden changes in the diet, because your microbial population will become upset and they will all die at once. So then you will have diarrhea and then you will come and complain, Dr. Vikram, what have you taught us? I'm so upset, or my stomach is so upset. So don't do that. Don't make sudden changes in diet. Make them gradually. So if you want to switch from a cooked diet to a mostly raw diet, then do it gradually. Take a couple of months. Small changes you make. All right. The first and the foremost rule of eating is you do not eat unless you are hungry. That is nature's way of telling us that you should put food into the body. These days, why do we eat? We eat because food is available, easily available. That is why we keep eating. You know, I see some cookies or some cake or some chaat or some samosa or some kachori, just because it happens to be in front of me, I eat. Whether I'm hungry or not, I don't even ask myself. That's not the way to eat, right? Do not drink unless you're thirsty. Same rule, just like with food, also with the water. Don't eat past the first burp. That is the third most important rule. It doesn't matter what you eat, whether you eat natural food, vegetarian food, non-vegetarian food, it does not matter. If you eat beyond the first burp, that excess food in your stomach will ferment, will bother you. Okay. So half of the stomach has to be filled with food. Rest of the space has to be left open for digestive juices. They get secreted from our throat, from our mouth, from our saliva, and from various glands. They get secreted into the stomach. You see, you have done chutney in your mixer, right? So when you're making the chutney in your mixer, do you fill up that entire bowl with all the stuff like the coconut and the coriander and all those things? No, you fill up only half of it, and then you add a little bit of water, and then you grind it. Then only that chutney will become smooth. If you fill it up completely, then the mixer will break, but the chutney will not happen. Right? That is the same principle. And then don't eat snacks between meals. See, if you eat snacks between meals, what will happen is whatever you have eaten before the snack, whether that is completely digested or not, it will get pushed down. That is what will happen. And then that undigested, unprocessed or partially digested material will create a huge amount of bacteria or microbes in the gut. That's not good for you, because then you will get inflamed from within, and that inflammation will cause whatever kind of disease, isn't it? Then this avoid list I'm giving here is especially for people like us who are sincere about purification of the mind and therefore self-realization. I do not give this entire list usually in a big gathering, because a lot of people will say that if you give me this list, then what will I eat? These are the things I love. Okay, that is not true. The list of what we should avoid is really short. It's only maybe 10 or 12 things, right? The rest, all of the things we can eat, all the natural foods, whatever grows in the season is really good for us. Right now it's mango season here, so I eat mangoes, all kinds of mangoes all the time. All right, so now after we've learned what we should not do, here is a list of what we should do. So there was this boy who was studying for the exam. So his mother told him, listen, beta, now exam is coming in the next 1 month. So you should not go to your friends. You should not go to movies. You should not spend time watching TV and watching cricket and this and that. So then you will do well in your exam. But then this boy fails in the exam. Then mother says, beta, what happened? You know, didn't I tell you, you should not do this, not do this, not do this? Yeah, mummy, I did not do any of these things. Then mummy said, then how come your result is so bad? Did you study? He says, no, mummy, you did not tell me to study. So after knowing what we should not do, also know what we should do. So Nished and Vidhi, we should know both Vidhi and Nished, right? So this is the Vidhi. So first the Yama and then the Niyama, all right? Follow 7 days a week routine of work, exercise, meal times and recreation and rest. So everything has to be in balance. Yukta hara viharasya, yukta cheshtasya karmasu, Yukta swapnava bodhasya yogo bhavati dukkha. That is what Bhagavan says in the Gita. Right? The other thing is you should try to eat between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. Most of the people here are retired, so they can easily follow this rule. Don't get up and start getting a bed tea and eating breakfast and all that. Don't worry. Eat after 10 a.m. because that's when the sun has already risen in the sky and it is quite strong in the sky. So the sun's position in the sky and our Jatharagni or the digestive fire, they correspond with each other. So that is why. I think somebody is not muted. So can you please check and mute because I can hear some background noise here. All right. So if you can mute yourself would be great. All right. Then the other rule is fast overnight for 14 plus hours. So if you eat at 6 p.m., don't eat at least before 8 a.m. If it is at 10 a.m., that is great. That is 16 plus hours. In 16 hours of fasting overnight every day, you will not have to do any Ekadashi or Chaturthi or whatever. You will be doing Upavas every day. And in that Upavas, you will learn a lot about yourself. Upavas means, the word Upavas means staying close to yourself. All right. Eat as much percentage raw as high a percent of raw food or natural food as possible. In my case, I have experimented with 100% raw food for more than a year. These days, as an exception, I will eat some cooked food. If it is freshly cooked rice or something, I will eat a little bit of that. But 95% of my diet is fruits and nuts. Okay, preferably local and seasonal produce. Whatever grows locally, you eat that. If you must eat cooked food, then cook the food very simply, starting from scratch. You start with the rice, cook it in an open pot, not in the pressure cooker. Okay, cook the simple food from scratch and eat within an hour of cooking. So as soon as you cook, preferably from the stove to the plate to your stomach. That's how you should eat. Okay, and then you should exercise regularly. You should do stretches. In my case, I do yogasana as well as I do Surya Namaskar. I do about 50 of them every morning. So it takes me about 40 minutes or so to finish my Surya Namaskar. And then I do asanas for the next 20 minutes. So for about an hour or so, I do this yoga abhyas. It's a very powerful exercise for the entire body, especially the spine. The spine becomes very strong and it becomes flexible. That is what is important for doing Surya Namaskar. That's the importance of doing Surya Namaskar. Now take up a sport or a hobby of your choice. So if you like cricket, you play cricket. If you like tennis, you play tennis. If I play table tennis, so I like table tennis and I've been playing for the last many years. So I go to a local club. Right now it is closed because of the lockdown. But other than that, I go. So this is a slide of the Surya Namaskar I do every day. I do a 10-step Surya Namaskar. I think at Yoga Abhyasi Mandal, they have one more step, which I don't do. This is something I learned from an Ayurvedic physician when I was in Pune in the mid-90s. So first, Namaskarasana, then you bend backwards, bend forwards, then come up. This is the plank. And then you go down in Saштanga Namaskar. Then you come up in Bhujangasana, in the Shvanasana. Then again, you come up one leg up and then Hastapadasana here and then Namaskarasana, right? So this is the Surya Namaskar routine I do every day. I do about 50 of these every day. So this is the before and after. The one picture which is worth more than 1,000 words. In November of 2017, this is how I was, 80 kilograms. I was a sumo wrestler. Then in the next 3 months, because of this completely strict discipline, it came down to 68 kilograms. I started looking like a different man altogether. You could not have recognized me in 3 months. Blood pressure went from 130/90 to 100/70. Post-meal blood sugar went from, at one time it was 156. It went to less than 100 post-meal. And after fasting of 14 to 16 hours, it is 70 or so. So the sugar varies between 70 and 100, which is the ideal range for a normal adult. Okay. Cholesterol used to be more than 200. It has gone down to less than 150. So this is what modern science tells me, right? In the last yearly checkup I did, the new entrant, you may want to please mute yourself. So they checked my oxygen level, right? So this is what they recommend to do in this pandemic, is it not? So they checked it, it was 100. which means that oxygen concentration even at the tip of the finger is 100%. Sandeep, the person who has joined recently, can you please mute that person? I would really appreciate that.
Vikram
The
bhai,
person
you are
who
the
has
host.
joined
You will have to
recently,
mute. Vikram bhai,
everybody
you
has
are the
to.
host.
I unfortunately, I'm not able to do it here somehow because I'm sharing my screen, so that's why it's not working for me. But anyway, let's just continue here. Look at the flexibility, strength, and balance. So flexibility here, when I'm bending down, my entire palm is touching the floor without bending the knees, and my head is going below the knees. And I can do the Bakasana. I just did that this morning also. I can do the Mayurasana very easily. Much more easily today than I used to be able to do when I was a teenager. So each one of us has the capacity and capability to enjoy health and well-being. We should all follow nature's laws and be happy. That is what I recommend. So thank you very much. This is my email address, mobile and WhatsApp number. Everybody and anybody is welcome to connect with me. I'm happy to talk to them, share with them my experience. And we'll take questions. Whatever questions you may have, happy to take those questions. Please go ahead. Thank you for the opportunity to talk to you and share my experience. This is great.
Vikram, it was quite a novel idea to eat everything natural.
I just wanted to check up. Well, you're talking about this fasting, which is 16 hours, and so when you get up in the morning, do you have tea or you are only on water till your next meal?
I drink water if I'm thirsty. That tea was in my avoid list. I cannot tell you not to drink tea if I'm drinking tea, is it not?
No,
So I do not drink tea at all.
No, but suppose one has black tea or green tea or yellow or pink, whatever color tea. Do you allow in that particular diet? Can one have, or you are not supposed to have anything at all?
This is not a Dikshit diet or a Divekar diet. This is a diet. This is a diet for self-purification, for mind purification. You eat when you are hungry and you drink when you are thirsty. You eat only those things that nature grows. You do not process your food, and you eat only half stomach full. So sometimes I may eat third time in a day if I get hungry. If I am doing a lot of physical activity, I do get hungry and I will eat the third time. But if you eat only twice a day, like Dikshit recommends, that is good for you. So most people don't have the discipline of getting up after the first burp. Most people don't even notice the first burp. That is very crucial. If you eat consciously, you will notice the first burp. Yeah, you were asking, somebody was asking something.
Yeah, the first, I didn't that word. Notice the first what?
Burp. First burp.
Oh.
After we eat for about 15 to 20 minutes with normal speed, don't eat very fast and don't eat very slowly. In about 15 to 20 minutes, your stomach will be half full and then you will notice the first burp. Stop. If you eat like this, you will realize that whatever small amount of food you eat gets completely converted into whatever the body requires. If you eat more than that, then it is like pouring water in a glass that is already full. It will flow away. So what will happen? Your body will unnecessarily have to get rid of a lot of material. It will generate more garbage. So our body will get converted into a garbage manufacturing machine rather than what it is meant for. Now we are trying to maintain our body so that the body can become connected with the divine, is it not? So Ahar Shuddhi is crucial, critical, essential, and not negotiable at all.
Vikram, I wanted to know what is the kind of menu that you follow for twice a meal that you follow? Do you eat fruits?
Yeah. Mostly, see, most of my meals are basically fruits and soaked nuts. Okay. Every now and then I will eat some vegetables or some rice, but that too rarely. I eat mostly seasonal fruit, whatever fruits I get. See, Bananas are available 12 months a year. I eat bananas, apples, grapes, oranges. Now in the season, I'm getting a lot of beautiful cherries. Those I'm eating. Strawberries are available sometimes. We eat those. Blueberries are available. Those we eat. So these are the regular food. Then I eat dry fruits. So dates, then anjeer, figs, raisins.
What about milk and all that? Milk, curd, or
Milk does
all
not
such-
suit me. Milk is not a poison. You can drink milk or eat milk products if you want, but in my case, it generates a lot of mucus. So if you are doing yoga and if you are serious about yoga, try giving up all animal products for a week and just see how you feel. उसके बाद प्राणायाम इतना बढ़िया होगा कि you will not be able to explain that. इतना अच्छा लगेगा. करके देखो.
But we have been hammered into, it has been hammered into our minds that दूध पीने से ताकत आती है. बचपन से बोला जाता है दूध पिएगा तो ताकत आएगी.
तो पीजिए ना, दूध पीजिए. मैं दूध विष है ऐसा नहीं बोल रहा हूँ. Milk is not a poison. Milk is useful. Milk can be had. It's not that milk is a poison. But I will tell you one thing. Nature's law says that milk is necessary for a mammal of its mother up to a certain age. After that, it is not necessary. You may continue to drink milk. I'm not saying that you should not drink milk. If you feel comfortable with it, if your body is able to handle it, it's okay. I mean, every now and then I will eat, I'll drink some milk. I make some kadha out of milk. So I add some turmeric, some black pepper, some cinnamon, things like that. All the spices we have in the kitchen. I boil it really like a tea and I drink it like a medicine every now and then. It's okay. There are no strict rules here. Huh? So this is not, in one of my webinars, somebody had asked me, is this your Lakshman Rekha? I said, no. Lakshman Rekha has to be drawn by each one of us for ourselves. I cannot draw your Lakshman Rekha. Because why? Lakshman drew the Rekha for Sita and Sita ran away. So what is the use? So that is why we have to draw our own Rekha. Only then we will follow it. Otherwise, see, if somebody else draws the Lakshman Rekha for you, it becomes Shasan. If we draw our own Rekha, then it becomes Anushasan. Okay. That is the difference between discipline and self-discipline. So self-discipline is much better. It is much longer lasting. Because you have drawn your own Rekha. That's why you're not going out of the house. Otherwise, if you say that Modi ji has put me under house arrest, then I will revolt. And then you are seeing what is happening. But if you are wise enough, you will stay within the house and you will be safe and everybody else will be safe. Anyway, I don't want this to be a political discourse. I'm not inclined towards any political party. All right. I'm not interested in politics. I'm just an observer. So I observe politics or I read newspaper for entertainment purpose and for using the news as examples in my webinars. That's all. It doesn't make any difference to me.
We are presently left with about 3 minutes.
What
Do
do
you
you
want
have
to
to say
reconnect?
about?
Yes.
Okay.
I have a question.
What do you have to say
Yes.
about diabetics?
For diabetics, you should consult your diabetic
No,
specialist.
about the food. No, that's
Diabetes
fine.
can be reversed. Huh? Type 2 diabetes can be reversed. It has been reversed in case of many of my friends. One of my friends happens to be 62 years old. He was taking the diabetes medicine for the last 10 years or so. In 6 months, he reversed his diabetes. He does not have to take any medicine now. He eats only natural food and he is fine. He's great. I'm going to do a webinar on diet purification this coming Sunday. I will send you the link. If you want to join that, that will be great. I'm actually doing a startup in Pune based on this whole concept. So you are most welcome to take a look at it. It's going to be only in Pune in the beginning because that's where the company is. But over time, I'm sure we will start it at other locations also. So most welcome to join that if you wish.
Vikram bhai, I also
Yes.
had diabetes and now it's all gone.
Fantastic. आपकी कहानी मुझे बताइए, हम उसको भी बताएंगे लोगों को. We will say that here is another example of, I did not have diabetes, fortunately, but I was pre-diabetic in the sense that because of all of my other parameters, the doctors here told me, you better shape up, otherwise you will get diabetes. My father has diabetes.
My father also had.
Correct. So one of the questions usually is, what kind of disease will I get? So what kind of disease you will get depends upon your heredity. All right. But whether you will get disease or not is up to you. isn't it? So if you do not create any imbalance within your body, then you will not get any disease. If you create the imbalance, then based on whatever your parents had, will have diabetes or blood pressure or heart trouble or arthritis or whatever. But if you don't create the imbalance, then no disease can happen to you. That is the principle of Ayurveda. Great. I think Sandeep bhai, we finished our meeting in perfect timing, so everybody's question is answered. Yoma, you want to ask a question?
1
Go
minute.
ahead.
1 minute.
Yoma, in 1 minute, go ahead.
Okay. So in your theory, you give quite importance to freshness of food, but in our culture, importance is given to eating leftover foods, or even in the saints of Maharashtra, who always we have seen that they are eating stale food. So while eating, the freshness of food matters, or the intention behind eating the food that matters the most?
They both matter. In fact, intention matters more than the freshness. So you are completely right. By all means, make sure that you offer the food as offering to the Lord as Naivedya, and then eat it like a prasad, and eat only half stomach full. Even if you eat stale food, you will be fine. But fresh food is better for you. Thank you for asking this question. So thank you everybody for joining this webinar. It's great to see you. We can continue our chat right after we finish here. Okay? All right.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you, Vikram. It was wonderful.
You, Vikram.
We'll-
Interesting.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.